So it looks like Trek has been reworking the model lineup for the Marlins for 2022. In today's video, I want to talk about the 2022 Trek Marlin 4 and where that sits in the grand scheme of all the Trek Marlin bikes. So the Trek Marlin 4 is not a bike that I was considering last year when I was looking at bikes for my kid, and that's because I didn't see it. I'm up here in Canada. I don't know if the international website just didn't list it. Maybe it was sold out or something, but as far as I recall, the Trek Marlin 5 for 2021 was the entry-level Trek Marlin bike. Now I can see that there is a Trek Marlin 4, and I can start to compare what it looks like with the 2022 Trek Marlin 4 versus the 2021 Trek Marlin 5. There's a lot of similarities there, but there is a couple differences. And I think from the perspective of the boys having the bikes for the last 6 months or so, we can start to see what would work well on a Trek Marlin 4 for the type of riding you're doing and what wouldn't work so well. Now, going off the current website for Trek, as of recording this video, the Trek Marlin 4 is the entry-level Marlin bike for the Marlin lineup. It is listed at $529 US or $639 in Canadian dollars. Now, from what I can tell, it actually used to be listed at $490 US dollar, but that changed in the past year. Now, comparatively, the Trek Marlin 5 has gone up in price with all of the spec bumps as well. So now this bike is a little bit more comparable to the price range that I was at last year with the 2021 Trek Marlin 5. One thing that I did notice that was weird is that on the website, it's listed as, instead of 2022 Trek Marlin 4, it's actually listed as 2021 to 2022 Trek Marlin 4. I'm not totally sure on why it's listed like that, but I'm guessing that the specs just haven't changed over the last 2 years, and so it's going to be very similar to what the 2021 Trek Marlin 4 specs were when that was available. So all of the Trek Marlin bikes do share the same frame, so these are Alpha Silver aluminum frames, and the bike comes in 4 colors. So there's Matte Trek Black, Voodoo Aloha Green, Matte Anthracite, and Magenta. Personally, looking at the colors for the Marlin 4, I do prefer the colors that are on the Marlin 5 for 2022. That being said, everything is up to your own preference and you might like these colors. If I did have to pick one of these colors, I'd probably go for the Trek Matte Black. Personally, I just think it's a nice clean look. Now, one of the specs that I noticed right away on this bike is that it uses mechanical disc brakes as opposed to hydraulic disc brakes. That might be something to consider for upgrading to a Marlin 5 instead of buying a Marlin 4, just because you might want the bigger braking power that you would get from hydraulic disc brakes. That being said, depending on your type of riding, you might not need any of that braking power anyways. Now, the fork that you'll find on the Trek Marlin 4 is the SR Suntour XCE 28 with 100 mil of travel on most of the frame sizes. On the extra small, it's going to be 80 mil of travel. Now, my son Zach, with his SR Suntour XCE 28, is proving that it's able to take a beating. He's doing a lot of the features on trails that you wouldn't normally think that you can get away with on this fork, but he has been doing it and it's held up so far, so there you go. Now, the Marlin 4 does come in 2 different wheel sizes, so medium and up is going to have 29-inch wheels, and on small and extra small, it's going to have 27.5-inch wheels. And this is the same that was on the 2021 Trek Marlin 5. Now, the drivetrain on the 2022 Trek Marlin 4 is a similar drivetrain to the 2021 Trek Marlin 5, made up of Shimano, Altus, and Tourney components, and I would say it's not ideal for the trails. On the back, you don't really have a big chain ring for climbing, and up front with the 3 chain rings and that front derailleur, it just makes for some complications when you're climbing on the trails as well. So I noted in another video that on the rear tire, we actually upgraded that on Zach's bike to a 2.4-inch tire. That added a little bit of complication because up front with his 3 chain rings, if it's on the lowest chain ring, you'll actually get a slight bit of rubbing from the derailleur against the rear tire. We've since actually switched it to a 2.3-inch tire, and that problem's gone away. It's not rubbing anymore, but you might find the same on the Trek Marlin 4 if you're looking at upgrading the tires on it to something a little bit thicker. You want to have a 2.3 or smaller tire on there. Now, the seat on this bike is the Bontrager Arvada that you see on a lot of the Trek bikes, their house brand. So far it's been a good seat. I haven't felt the need to upgrade mine on my Remedy, and Zach has been fine with his on his Marlin. So the grips that are on the Marlin 4 are the Bontrager Comfort grips. They're okay, but that's something that Zach upgraded on his bike to these Deity grips instead, a little bit more comfortable on the trails. So one question I get a lot is sizing on the bike. So I'm gonna put up the Trek sizing chart on here. Now, Zach rides a medium. He's about 5'4" at this point, although he's growing really quickly. And on his bike with a medium, they actually had to cut the seat post down by an inch or two so that it could lower the seat post and he could fit over the bike. Otherwise, he's okay on his medium, but I know he's gonna grow into it and he'll still be good on his medium for quite a while. So thanks for watching this video. Click like if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe if you want to see videos of us riding our bikes and other adventures that we get up to. And otherwise, we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.